Yo, what's up? This is your boy Gark. Just a little BGA Cup post-mortem final thoughts about the tournament. I thought it was a great success. Everything went pretty well besides the construction. Um, I still think we have to think about how we organize these trips because um, it's a lot of driving within 48 hours, driving there and back. So there'll be a lot more discussion about the future BGA Cups, whether we're going to stay 2 nights, whether we're going to keep it local, whether some people wanted to stay in a hotel. That would be more preferable. I thought the Airbnb was pretty solid, although we forgot to bring any kind of booze, which was probably a good thing, as myself in particular was very tired. I don't think I was hungover in the next day. But yeah, that's one thing I would say it was a big failure was nobody had booze for the Airbnb. But we got to drink decently late at that fantastic bar that Lou and myself helped select. That was a really fun time, except for that one guy. But it was a blast. I learned a new bar game, and we played basketball. That was good. Just had a great time. Ordered way too much food. So let's get to the stuff. Let's get to the competition. Well, obviously we know the results. 6.5 to 3.5. And obviously we know it was a very close tournament. Some people have called it the most competitive BGA Cup ever. I would say Schaumburg was not competitive. I would say this is probably the most competitive BGA Cup. I would agree with that. I have to say, Logan's captaincy was very intriguing. He tried some non-conventional things pre-tournament with switching Nathan to 2 seed. And let's face it, it pretty much almost paid off for him. They were basically about to have the Chapman match with Logan and Nathan, which against me and Riley, there are two best players. I wasn't sure what the best way to face myself and Riley was going to be. I thought Logan made a mistake by choosing Chapman as his preferred matchup. I just thought if you give me and Riley like two different chances to hit the green, I just thought we were going to be consistently on the green, and the Mangoes were not going to be. But it turned out that Nathan played really well, and Logan played pretty fucking well as well. So it was so much closer. I don't think in any of my matches, except for maybe Logan in singles, did I feel the amount of like nerves and adrenaline as I did in that Chapman match. I thought we were comfortably cruising in the first half, and then as a lot of my matches happened, as the more time went on, I just blew it, got maybe a lack of focus, and then let people back in. And 17 came, and it wasn't supposed to be an 80-yard par 3 to be a pivotal moment of the match, but it was. It's kind of funny how that worked, and it was like trembling while I took that shot. Thankfully, I got it close enough. Riley, didn't hit a great putt, but I made the sidewinder, and I told Riley, if we can tie this hole, we're going to win this match, because I just felt confident on a par 5 with us, and we did win that hole, thanks to Riley keeping the tee shot in. He was, he really helped with the tee shots in that match. The other match was Steve and Kyle beating Kevin and Lou in Chapman. It very well could have been 2-up Mangoes after Chapman, or at least 1.5, which if we would have lost Chapman, I don't think we would have. If I would have lost Chapman, I don't think we would have won the tournament. I think it would have been demoralizing for a 1 and 2 seed to lose that early. And I don't think we could have recovered from that. It was just a shocking thing that thankfully we avoided. But anyway, Steve and Kyle beat Kevin and Lou. From what I heard, this match was mostly to do with Kevin just being very bad and Kyle playing pretty well eventually once he snapped out of it. Steve and Lou, I think they played their usual selves. Steve probably would have said he played bad, but probably means he played pretty decent. I'd like to hear more stories about that one, but it seemed like a pretty close competition, and the Mangoes just won. So I thought at that point this is going to be close. I don't really know, I didn't really know what to expect. Then we went to 4-ball, where I had a match circled, thinking like if we were going to upset one of them, it was going to be Lou and Riley against Kyle and Logan, just because I thought Lou had a good course knowledge and he could play that course well. And little did I know we were going to see one of the best matches of all time, with basically Riley and Logan just absolutely on fire. We saw the second eagle in BGA Cup history on a short par 4, but any time you can birdie a hole that's 440. I don't even, it's gonna take me too long to check what it was. Best ball. Doesn't matter. I think it was probably pretty long, but looks like it was 491 yards in the scorecard. So I don't want to take anything away from that. It was long. It was very impressive. One of probably the best hole ever played in BGA Cup history. Yeah, I mean, it sounded like everybody was pretty much contributing to that match. It was a really intense match, compounded by the fact that the other match got finished a little earlier, and I know the feeling of when you're locked in a early first day dogfight. When people come to watch you, it could just push you over, frustration levels over the edge. And we saw Kyle and getting pretty upset, and there was some lost balls searching, people getting fired up, and the emotion all came pouring out as Riley birdied 18, which, everybody thought that on my team that he wasn't aiming near the hole from our perspective, and there was no way he was going to make that putt. I mean, it was a pretty bad eagle attempt. Blew it way by when you only have to 2-putt to win, but somehow he snuck it in, and that was another great moment of BGA Cup history, and we got the celebration on film. I think maybe Mangoes will look back at that one and think that was the one that got away, and kind of hard to come back from 3-1 down after the first day. But yeah, I think that was probably the most pivotal match, because it was a stolen point in my book, because we had our 3 seed with our 1 seed versus the 1 and 2 for them. So yeah, just the margins were razor thin, and we were feeling great after day 1, and we hit the construction, had a fun night. Next day, I didn't feel like warming up very much. I hit like 10 balls. I was just very sleepy. I just felt like I wanted to conserve my energy for the long day ahead, and I played pretty poorly that second day. But I didn't talk about my 4-ball match, which 4-ball was me and Kevin versus Steve and Nathan, which we won 4-3. That was another pretty close match where I thought like it was going to be a cakewalk because I was shooting so well in the front. But then somehow after 9, I think it was still just 2 up, and I think they brought it back to all square, and then I just turned it on and took advantage of their mistakes. In particular, I think Steve lost a little bit of momentum or whatever. He lost a little bit of skill, whatever. Can't think of I'm fried. This is the day after BGA Cup. It was I just had my one really good 18 of the tournament, and that's what I needed to do, because The pressure was on me as the lowest seed in that match to do it, and thankfully I did. Kevin helped a little bit, but most of the time I was outside of him when his putts mattered, and I ended up making the putts. So it was good to have him there. He was hilarious. He was wasted. I remember getting into his face at one point near the back, looking him in the face and saying, "You have to make this putt." Like, arms on his shoulders. His clear face is clearly visibly drunk, and he can hardly look me in the eyes. And he said okay or whatever, and he drained it, and that was his big celebration of that moment, of that match, and I think his crown moment of the cup. Yeah, so we got the job done there, and that's the match I'm most proud of. I felt like I had to win the most too. So then day 2, alt shot. Alt shot was definitely a pillow fight between myself and Lou and Nathan and Kyle. Nathan continued his momentum of day 1 of just blasting driver down ridiculous lines and getting away with it. I think he had a couple more penalties than he did on day 1 in alt shot, but he gave Kyle a lot of good looks, and it was definitely a back and forth match that really came down to hole 16, when me and Kyle both audibly celebrated our teammates' drives because it was a high pressure moment, and I delivered on the approach shot, Kyle didn't. That's how I remember the match. We ended up winning 16, and then from there they just penaltied away hole 17, and we won in the fairway. But I think the match was really won on 16, because that was so much pressure, and yeah, that was fun. It's not a match I'm gonna remember like I did a lot, and it was like a dominant performance. It was just we both did enough in the end to win. The other one was Logan and Steve versus Riley and Kev. Going into this, I thought Logan and Steve were probably going to win this one, and a little surprised that they didn't. But I guess it's one that could have went either way. And Logan and Steve was a partnership that looked amazing on paper, but maybe a different format would have been better for them. I don't really know too much about that match. I haven't gotten a ton of details on that one yet, but it ended a little bit earlier than ours, and they were following us. So I would definitely like to hear more about that one. But it sounds like Kevin was putting it very well. I think that's what I heard. I heard Logan and Steve told me he had a wild day. Couldn't keep it going straight with the driver, and yeah. So last we got singles. At that point, I was in the Kevin Sand Valley territory where I could hardly even speak. So tired. I think I didn't get a bogey or better until hole 7. So I think I have the scorecard here. I quickly went 3 down after 5 holes, and by hole 12 I was 4 down. I kind of battled back a little bit. Kyle always has some mistakes in him, but he played a lot better than me on the front. And then with 6 holes to go, I was 4 down, 6 holes to go. I told him that I was just gonna try my hardest for these last 6 holes, and I'm just not gonna fall over, even though I felt like I didn't care about the match because we were 5 up, and I was just so tired, and I couldn't hit a drive straight, so I started to give up. But knowing that I could be a 4-0 BGA Cup player, and just having to live with a crushing 6-5 defeat, I just tried my hardest, and thankfully the driver finally started going straight, and Kyle had some mistakes on the stretch, worse than my mistakes, and I won that. I didn't win that one. I halved it, which same thing as the last time we played in singles in BGA Cup. It was a great match. It wasn't pretty, but it was fun, and a lot of respect for Kyle. Lou and Steve, that was actually more entertaining to me than my own match because they were playing good golf, in my opinion. There was some penalties, but when it came down to the back nine, it was just really good golf. Steve was just couldn't make a mistake with irons or driver. Occasionally, I think he didn't hit a great chip, but it was just like Steve when he's automatic, and Lou was not like hitting it off the planet. Lou was just couldn't get the job done down the stretch, and I really enjoyed watching that match. And I haven't really seen Steve in previous BGA Cups for one reason or the other, but I got to see him all day. I got to see him 2 different matches this tournament, and that was fun. And I saw passion. People say that he's emotionless, but I saw fist pumps. I saw some yells. So that was cool to see. And yeah, I'm a little sorry for my teammate. Lou's upset about what happened on hole 16 that he couldn't put it. Yeah.